welcome back to another episode of Maxwell Starr's Beer Review. Tonight, got a special treat. We got one of the beers that was sent to me by none other than BrewByMe, and also a beer that was listed on my 150th episode bucket list that I posted quite some time ago. And while I've checked off a whole bunch of beers that were on that bucket list, thanks to guys like BrewByMe, Al Harlock, and Albino Rhino, as well as plenty from Heist Almighty, gonna take a look at one that I'm really excited to try, and one that I'm gotta get out of the fridge before it goes bad. I've been coming off of a cold here, so enough of my taste of smell and sense of smell and taste has come back that I'm gonna tackle this one anyway. I'm gonna take a look at Wychwood Brewery's Hobgoblin, 5.2% alcohol by volume, legendary ruby beer. It is a British bitter that's one of the more well-known British bitters. I've heard beer reviewers like, well, I know Al Harlock's done it, but Beer Goggles Reviews, I think, really adores this beer. Cheers to you if you're watching this. It says full-bodied and well-balanced with a chocolate toffee malt flavor, moderate bitterness, and a distinctive fruity character and ruby red glow. If you're a fan of British beers, you may already know this one. Unfortunately, us here in lowly old New Brunswick have never even seen this one. If it has been, I've never seen it in this province. Lucky for me, I know they've had it in Nova Scotia, but lucky for me, BrewByMe, living in Ontario, was able to pick up a bottle of this and send it to me. I know that personally I've seen advertisements and everything all over for this, and pretty much all the big beer reviewers have taken a look at this one already. So I'm incredibly excited to finally get to try a bottle of Hobgoblin. I guess it would have been good for a while. This is August 1st, 2012, so yeah. Anyway, let's pop the top off of this one and see if I think it's any good. Now, personally, I actually really do like British bitter styles. It's one of my favorite styles of beer. That said, there's a lot of styles of beer that are really some of my favorites. But I'm going to take a look at this one and see what I think. Now, I don't have a glass on hand big enough to hold the whole bottle. This is alright. I'm probably going to give some of this to Neely. Irregardless, nice color. Ruby red, they're not really lying on that. It's kind of like an orangish ruby with a touch of like iced tea brown in it. It's definitely filtered, and it's got a decent amount of carbonation. This is one of those glasses that doesn't have the etching in the bottom. So it really, that cap here. Really, this is the natural carbonation. It doesn't have any kind of etchings kicking up anymore. And that's for the head. Some pretty good head retention, and even though I've been blabbing here, it hasn't really died down that much, and it's got this nice, kind of like a tan appearance in the head, almost like a little bit of mocha brown to it, with a white top. That looks really nice. And it also it has a creamy consistency with some sponge toffee style bubbles in the middle of it. Definitely on the appearances side of things, that's a really pleasing looking beer. How big is this bottle? Like 500 ml? Yeah. Anyway, let's give it a sniff. A hint of a coffee malt and a little bit of a red fruit. A little bit of that, an earthy kind of smell. Probably generated from some kind of British style, like earthy hops. Maybe a tiny, tiny touch peppery. But boy, it's almost got this like this fresh mist kind of smell. Like waking up in the morning. It's almost like sniffing this is almost like a breath of fresh air to a certain degree. And a nice, mellow smelling beer. It's not a very strong smelling beer, but very much so a pleasing smelling beer, and it's very inviting. Let's give it a taste. Ooh. Well, for one, it's very earthy. But if this makes any sense at all, almost like a hollow earthy. With a tiny bit of a sour tartness, but more like an apple tartness and not like definitely not a bad beer tartness. And it's kind of like like a sour apple. in a red fruit way. It's more like a Macintosh apple kind of apple fruit taste. But the malt hits the roof of the mouth with a little bit of a toasted grain and a chocolate malt taste that mixes in with like a, let's see, some kind of fruit, a little bit of that Macintosh apple. And it's got an earthy touch to the tip of the tongue. That's not bad. Easy to drink. Not so much smooth, but there's a tiny bit of a crispness to the back. And it finishes quite dry. Maybe not incredibly dry, but, you know, pleasingly dry. And it's, I'd almost say this is more like bitterer than Fuller's ESB. But I don't know if it quite has the flavor to match. I'm going to sit down with this one and I'll come back with some thoughts. Be right back. And I'm back with Wychwood Hobgoblin. So, what did I think about this one? Actually ended up really liking this. I mean, to finish it off, it had a nice, like, chocolate and brown sugar malt flavor. Nice amount of cocoa flavor in there. Along with this nice, fruity, like almost like a Macintosh sour apple kind of flavor to it. That ended up blending really well and finishing off with a nice earthy hop flavor. And I found it actually worked quite well. And maybe I don't quite like this one as much as like Fuller's ESB. This is one that I would buy again. If I just had the chance to sit down and buy a whole bunch of these, this is one that I could easily sit down and drink. This is really nice. Full of flavor, a very nice looking beer, and one that's thoroughly enjoyable for everyone. So if you do get a chance to actually have this in your area or give this a try, definitely give it a try because it's definitely worth picking up. For rating, I think I'm going to give this one about I'll just go with a 4 out of 5. Really good, and I am thankful to finally get a chance to try this one because it's delicious, and it's one that I have been thinking of for a long time. I've seen all the advertisements for it, I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and now I finally get to try it for myself, so yes. Thank you, Dale. BrewByMe, thank you for sending me this bottle because I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this beer review. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. Cheers, guys.